opportunity to brief you regarding what Salesforce is and how is it related to the present industry and why is it so in demand technology. And I have few agenda points that I would try to take through one in my PPT. So let's get started. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. So the agenda for today is regarding interaction and working of Salesforce. Then I would take you through the different products and features that Salesforce provides with. Then we have a concept of customization and configuration in Salesforce, which I would explain you with the real-time examples in the coming slides. Once that is done, we would concentrate on why Salesforce is necessary as a career path. So I would probably give you a brief about what are the different certifications that we can take to land ourselves into a Salesforce job related to customization and configuration. Then just to make this presentation more interesting, I would have few demo in between so that there is not much of theory or explanation in between. So I would take you through and explain you how an application is built within Salesforce, so that I can do. Then post that, yes, I would be available and happy to take question and answers in the last. So let's get started then. So whenever we think about CRM, we think about Salesforce, and when we think about Salesforce, we should also think about cloud computing, because the whole concept revolves around cloud computing. So as most of us know what cloud computing, it's nothing but storing and managing data in the remote servers rather than storing them in a local or a personal server. So it has its own benefits, but yeah, when we're trying to understand what cloud computing, we have two concepts, actually three or four concepts, but let's concentrate more on this software as a service and platform as a service as we are looking into what Salesforce is. So software apps delivered on the cloud, basically the vendors, they develop the softwares and they give it to the clients so that they can access those software. So that is nothing but software as a service. Whereas platform as a service is wherein a platform or a database or whatever it is given wherein the clients can build their own application. So these are two concepts that we need to be clear of. So there are certain benefits with respect to cloud computing. So the first thing is it is cheaper because we need not spend much on the hard metal, or whenever we are trying to have an application or whenever we're trying to build our own application, we need not concentrate more on setting up the infrastructure or the resources, etc., because all we have to do is by store the data in the remote servers and that can be accessed. We need not, basically, whenever we are trying to build an application, we do face few issues that when we were not using cloud computing. So setting up the infrastructure, having our own, concentrating on the patches to be installed, etc. So that can be avoided by using cloud computing. And also one of the major advantages with respect to cloud computing is it's scalable. So when I say scalable, I mean whenever we are trying to, we have around 2 or 3 servers that are supporting our services, and we want to scale up our business in terms of services or the number of servers to 20 or 30 servers. So that can be easily done because the resources and the servers are already available in cloud computing and Salesforce. So once this is done, the third most important advantage is the collaboration and the coordination with the team. It becomes very easy when we're using cloud computing. So we would have witnessed that during the pandemic times, like working from home and accessing our applications, or and so that becomes easy wherein you make the changes to your application and that is reflected throughout. Like you need not concentrate on the local servers, basically. So considering all these applications in mind, so it is indeed hassle free to use cloud computing. So as we are concentrating on Salesforce, we need to understand what a CRM is. So Salesforce being one of the leading CRMs in the present industry, So CRM is nothing but a customer relation management. So if you have a huge customer base, or and you need to manage and manage the data and coordinate with your team members or with your customers for that cause, then CRM is something that we need to is the tool that provides us with all those capabilities. So basically it helps us to increase our sales or services, whatever for that causes. So I would try to explain that in detail when I'm speaking about the products and services that we have with Salesforce. So as we know that CRM, Salesforce is nothing but a CRM, that is nothing but a cloud computing platform. Basically, it provides both software as a service and a platform as a service. It was started in March 1999 by Oracle executive Mark Benoit. So CRM as a CRM, it is more into software as a service rather than a platform as a service. Yes, Salesforce also provides that service as well, but as we're concentrating more on CRM today, Salesforce is software as a service that is used for now. So, one before getting much into details, let's understand how this Salesforce works. So, what is the architecture basically that Salesforce works on? So we have two types of architectures based on which Salesforce works. One being the multi-tenant architecture, and the other being a metadata type architecture. So as the name suggests, multi-tenant, it's like a single server instance is used that hosts all the different clients using a particular server service or a particular application or different applications for that cause. So it has its own advantages. I'm not getting much into the architecture, keeping in mind there could be some audiences who are not from IT background. So I would try to explain in a generic way by correlating with your real-time examples. So when we say multi-tenant architecture, it's like basically you have an apartment, and there are like tenants, many tenants living there. So and that having a single owner. So we can correlate that with this multi-tenant architecture. So herein the advantages with respect to this are like uh, Salesforce as a vendor, when he wants to make any changes, he can just do it for a single time, and those changes will be reflecting in the server. And the most important advantage with respect to this is the maintenance cost for managing the data or storing the data basically can be easily it's actually economical because that is divided amongst the number of clients that we have. So I'll take up the questions at the last. For now, probably we can have 5 or 10 minutes for that. So I'll try to cover up these topics, then we can go ahead with that. So and also one of the important thing is when there are multiple tenants or multiple clients that are being hosted in a single server, the concern arises about the data security or the data breach. So that is actually taken care by the governor limits that we have, wherein that makes sure that this specific data can be accessed only by those group of clients or that particular client for that cause. So that is about a multi-tenant architecture. Then we have something called as metadata architecture. So this is nothing but the enhancement of the governor limits that we had in the multi-tenant architecture. So basically here the data of specific clients are stored in the form of metadata. So when I say metadata, it's nothing but data about data. So what exactly is data about data? So this data stores what the data specific to that client is and where that data needs to be stored and to whom this data is accessible within the for the clients within the org, etc. So that is about metadata. And for instance, like we have around two clients with us, and they have their own specific data in terms of different objects and fields. uh, I would explain about fields and objects in the coming slides. Just for the instance, I'm giving this example. So when we have two clients and the specific data is there. So these data specific to the clients are stored in the metadata, wherein the sharing rules for that particular data and all is stored in a metadata specific to client one, and metadata specific to client two separately. So these data are accessed by these clients through different talks. So orgs is nothing but the standard terminology that we use in Salesforce. So that is about the different architecture that we have in Salesforce. So this particular the main agenda of adding this slide here is, since this may not sound relevant to us, as we are like trying to understand what Salesforce is. Maybe this is relevant to those people who are, to those companies or people who are trying to adopt this software. But just to give a brief about the additions, actually Salesforce provides us with different licenses and additions. And it comes up with a cost. Like we have an essential edition, which is nothing but a license with limited features and data, and the cost is around 25 USD per month per user. Then we have professional edition, that is an enhancement to the essential edition with an extra enhanced features, and the cost of the same is around 75 USD per user per month. And we have enterprise and unlimited accordingly, wherein an unlimited edition, it actually has unlimited features and the data with that. So but the main focus for us is on this developer additions that we have, which is actually free of cost. So when I say free of cost, like anyone or who wants to like learn Salesforce can easily log into Salesforce console and can start accessing and can start building his own application, and without any cost. But yes, for the first four additions, Salesforce does provide with the support if we are facing any issues related to technical or anything. But developer edition, Salesforce does not provide us with any support, etc. So but yes, we have access to all the different automation processes that we have in Salesforce. So you can build your own application, you can customize or design your logic according to the requirements, and you can play around with Salesforce. So before getting into the different products, like I would try to take you through how Salesforce looks like and how one can easily, sign himself up and start using Salesforce. So login URL for that is developer.salesforce.com. So one can easily sign himself up. It's similar to like if you're creating a Gmail account or other social networking account. So the details that you provide similar to that. So it is what it is. So this is the page you can provide all your details like your first name, your last name, email address. But the role here, since we are using a developer addition, so it's better to select a developer as a role, and then any company that you want to specify, and you can specify all these relevant details and give a username and sign yourself up. Since I already have my account, I would not be creating a new one. But once you do this, you would get an email confirmation to the registered email. From therein you can like set up your security questions and probably create your own password, and post that you're good to go, and sign and log into Salesforce. So once your user ID or user ID and password is created, you can log into Salesforce, login.salesforce.com. I have created my new my user ID, so it goes like this. Then I log into this particular Salesforce page.
Mas, I have a question here,
Yeah,
please.
yeah.
So, is company email required to log in?
See, it's not required. It's for your reference basically. Since we are using a developer edition, so it is something that you can design yourself. Like for now, I have created just a G. I'm not working for G. It's just for my reference I've created. So the company email or your email, it can be anything. It may not be specific to a company.
Got it.
Okay. So once you log in to Salesforce, the Salesforce console looks like this. So it's a very developer friendly. Apart from being user friendly, it's also developer friendly basically. So I will take you through how to build an application and all. But before getting into that, we have a few things to keep in mind. So First thing is, if you're creating any application or if you're building any application, you have those applications listed here. So you can go to, this is basically a setup view, that is only visible for the system administrator who has all the privileges to make changes. But whereas we would be having front end customers who would who are just concerned about the products, and they need not see this particular page. So I'll show you that view as well, but before getting into that, let me show you how we create an application. So before creating an application, we have see, I already have created some applications at my end, like G Aviation Sales, G Aviation Services, AE Express Sales, etc. So you can do that. It's very easy. And also, this view also has something called as Object Manager, wherein we have created certain objects. Objects are basically it's like relevant data stored into a particular instance, you can say. So I'll get into the details probably in the coming slides, but for now let's see how we create an application. So all you have to do is go to setup, you you type app manager, so you create a new lightning app. I just name it as testing app. So you would like, you would ask me like, what is this developer name when you already are specifying an app name? So this is nothing but an API name basically. So this API name is used whenever we are designing any logic or anything. We will not specify it with this name. We'll specify it with this name whenever we are writing a code, or whenever we are using the available automation process that we have in Salesforce. So we when we are trying to call this application, we refer it to this particular application from backend with this particular name. So I just give some details. I try to upload some image. For instance, I have this testing image. We can specify any background color that we want, and you can go ahead. So keep this as it is. Then we have, as I told, we have certain objects, and we want those objects to be reflecting in our landing page. So how do we do that? We can actually call those pages, we can specify those tabs that needs to be reflecting as per the order that we want. So I've added accounts, then I'll add contacts. Then I've created few custom objects like products. So let's keep this 4 tabs for now. So and once we create an application, we need to make sure the different profiles to which this particular application is access to. So when there is a company, there would be different profiles, like there would be a sales team, there would be a service team, and we need to specify what particular application should be visible to them. So for now, I'll first thing is I'll make this visible to us as a system administrator who is who's trying to build this app, and also to GE, I have created a profile with GE Aviation sales team, so I would include them. So this is nothing but we are specifying the different profiles to which this a particular application can be accessed to. So this is it. So once this is done, our application is created. So when I go back, so this is our application that we have created. So once I log in, as we have specified only 4 objects to be visible on the landing page, we have these 4 objects on the landing page. I would take you through what exactly is a standard object and custom object, but just to show you how easy it is to build an app. You need not require any coding for this or anything. It's just like drag and drop kind of thing, wherein everything, it's developer friendly and you can easily create one. So now, once I'm done with this, I'll take you through the different services and products that Salesforce provides us with. So, yeah. So we have different clouds or different services with Salesforce. That is, we have a sales cloud basically. So you can access these services from Salesforce page directly. Again, it's similar. You can see it here. Like these are all inbuilt. Salesforce provides us. We are not. We can make changes to this, but yes, these are all already provided clouds or platforms wherein we can go ahead and make our changes. So it's not required that we create a separate application if we are concentrating more into a sales domain or a service domain for that course. So these are the different clouds, like we have service cloud, we have marketing cloud, we have community cloud, we have sales cloud, etc. So when you talk about the different products that Salesforce has, so the first thing is the sales cloud. Sales cloud is actually one of the in-demand clouds wherein the recruitments are happening specific to this role, wherein experts belong who have worked on this specific services are recruited with the relevant experience for the same. So, what exactly, before getting into this, I would just give an example of what Salesforce is basically. Till now, you would have like got an idea about Salesforce, but let me relate it with an automobile industry, wherein if you want to buy a car and you have certain specific requirements, and what you do, you basically go to a showroom and buy a car. So that is one thing that you do, but you would have certain specific requirements that are not matching or that are not there in the available market in a particular car. So what you do, the first thing is you'll not go to a showroom and ask them to build a car from scratch which matches your requirements. That is very rare, and it's like it's not at all practical. What you do, you go to a showroom, you buy a car which has basic requirements, then you can customize or you can modify your car according to the requirements that you have. So we can correlate that with Salesforce as well. So Salesforce basically it provides us with built-in applications which actually satisfy the basic requirements of a particular company or a particular business for that cause, and you can enhance the requirements specific to your business or your client's requirement accordingly by using the available processes in Salesforce, or by customizing for that cause. So this is like a brief idea, because whenever we are building an application, there would be certain requirements that are very common, like to store the company details, to store the customer details, and to actually track down the leads, to track down the opportunities in sales domain. So all these are like you need not build everything from scratch. So that's what I'm trying to explain. So Salesforce provides that us with that particular provision, wherein an application is already built therein with available automation process, you can go ahead and enhance your requirements. So coming back to the different products that Salesforce provides with, the first of it being a sales cloud. So every company has a sales team, right? As mentioned before. So sales team, what do they do? Basically, they are like they focus on increasing the sales of the company. So you would be requiring a platform basically wherein you want to refine your sales process. You would require a platform to coordinate with the customers, to track down the different leads, opportunities, etc. So therein we can use the sales cloud. Salesforce provides us with that particular platform. And also we have something called as a service cloud. So if you have a particular company, or if you are delivering a particular product to a client, and there would be like in the present scenario, it's always that there would be few queries or issues with respect to the product. Once you are delivering it, you will be supporting that product. So the queries raised by those clients are actually tracked down, and the platform, this service cloud platform actually provides us with that. So it provides a platform wherein these queries are addressed accordingly, and they are actually recorded in the form of cases. So when I say cases, it's basically tickets. That's what we call in normal terminology, and they have their specific IDs along with them. So that can be tracked to this. Basically, this concentrates on the customer satisfaction, to build in the customer satisfaction, and also the service agents or the employees belonging to a company. If you want to track down the number of queries that they have answered, and how can these queries further be not how can we automate these addressing of these queries. All this can be done through Service Cloud. Then we have Commerce Cloud. Commerce Cloud, we can correlate with the different e-commerce sites like Flipkart and Amazon. So wherein when we are buying a particular product, right? Uh, Obviously, when you are buying a phone or something, there would be few recommended products for us, right? Once we buy that. So basically, what they do, the logic behind that is, it's like simply it catches the pattern of what the customer who has purchased this particular product, what is the pattern. So accordingly he would recommend the same thing for different customers. So, and also tracking of different orders, and you know uh, probably it also looks into payment, etc. So that is what is provided in the Commerce Cloud. Then we have Marketing Cloud. So Marketing Cloud is nothing but it's bringing business to a company, or doing marketing wherein in the form of mass campaigns, or by sending out mass SMSs, mass emails, and also doing digital marketing. It also talks. It's also about this platform. From this platform, we can actually maintain social networking profiles of your customers and track down their interests. Accordingly, we can try to bring business to a company. So that's what we can sorry for that. That's what we can do it with the Marketing Cloud. So we also have Analytics Cloud here. So basically we can integrate this Analytics Cloud with Sales Service or Marketing Cloud. So what we do in order to look, if our business is good in the last quarter for a particular company, so the analysis can be done based on what parameters was that done, and how can we enhance our business again, or in the form of service, like how can the queries automated, how can the routine queries be automated. So this can be done through Analytics Cloud. We also have IoT Cloud. So for instance, if your company is using any IoT devices, and this basically through this platform you can connect with your IoT clouds, and you can log, and analysis can be done. So basically it enables IoT as an infrastructure. We also have many other clouds as well, but let's concentrate on what an app cloud is. So as I showed you how to build an application, so this cloud actually supports that. So you can build your own application, and then you can you can assign different objects, so that you can customize logics according to whatever your requirement is. And it's not very specific, you can do anything with this application cloud. And this Community Cloud is like, basically it provides a platform for different clients who are clients the Salesforce. They can interact and collaborate with each other. So that's what can be done through Community Cloud. We also have a Health Cloud as well, wherein that are used in hospitals by the doctors or the hospital administration, to track down the different ailments that a patient is going through, to have a record of the patient for that cause. So that is again a different topic. So so Salesforce is into all of this. That's why it's like one of the leading CRMs in the present industry. So once we understand what are the different products and services in Salesforce, so we need to understand what a configuration and customization. These are two concepts in Salesforce basically. So as I told you, there are few processes that are already automation processes that are provided with in Salesforce, and you can use those processes to achieve your functionalities or requirement for that cause. So you need not do any coding or anything here. I mean, it's simple. As I showed you how to build an application, then we have how to create objects, then building relationships with those objects, then assigning different profiles. We would create profiles and users, and assigning, and to make sure which data is visible to which profile. So all these things can be done in configuration. And specifically for those people who are not into coding, and or who do not want to start their career, or like who do not want to have to do coding in the initial phase of their careers, they can go ahead with this path. So this path is nothing but Salesforce admin role. Once I'll get back to the different certifications that we have with this. So basically it's like you can use the available processes to achieve the functionalities. And once you are like good with this, like once you start developing your own, and this can be done very easily because there is a huge amount of material available on the internet, and you have videos which actually with the real-time scenarios you can go through that for that for that cause. So here in no coding is required. And yes, there are recruitments specifically for Salesforce admins. So admins is nothing but they concentrate on the configuration part where there is no coding required. So people specifically who want to start their career and belonging to non-IT background from probably mechanical, electrical, or core fields, they can start the careers here. Believe me, there is indeed a huge requirement in this domain, because almost every company is adopting this, because we have a Google companies like Google, Facebook, they are the frontline customers for Salesforce, wherein they use Salesforce as a CRM. So configuration part, so this like there is too much of probably explanation in theory. So I would take you through what exactly configuration and what are the different processes that we have. But before doing that, I would just give you an idea of what customization is. We would be having certain real-time scenarios, certain requirements which cannot be achieved through the available processes in Salesforce. So those functionalities can be achievable, or can be achieved by writing a piece of code, or customizing the logic. Basically Salesforce works on Apex language. So if anyone is having a coding background and he wants to get into development, the language is very simple. Actually it's Apex language. So you have to be good, you have to learn this Apex language, then post that you're good to start developing or customizing in Salesforce for that cause. So we have different scenarios wherein there are, even again in here, you have specific type of processes that we can use to achieve the functionalities in customization. So let's get back to the demo to understand what customization is. So I already have created some applications in Salesforce. Are you able to see my demo screen, right?
Mass, did we miss configuration demo part?
Yeah. No, yeah, I'm starting it now. Are you able to see my demo screen?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So this is one of the applications that I have built in a few days back. So herein I have objects that I have created. Like Salesforce provides us with standard objects, and there are some custom objects. So first we need before getting deep into configuration, let's understand what a standard object and a custom object is. As the name suggests, standard objects are those objects which are actually provided by Salesforce, that are built in Salesforce, whereas the custom objects are those objects that specifically that you build, that you create as per the requirements that you have. So accounts and contacts are standard objects, whereas the other objects that you see on my list, like G product, G service, I have created. As the name suggests, objects are nothing but the relevant data that is stored in a particular object or in an instance, we can say. So let me open these objects from an administrator view, system administrator view. So when you're trying to create an object, you can easily create by going to this object manager, and you have an option here, create custom object. So you can easily create from here, and you can specify the details like the label and the description and the what is it, different features that we have with respect. I'll not be creating new because that will take some time. So I'll just take you through so that we can cover up other topics as well. So as the name suggests, we have a few custom and standard objects. If you see the types, they are mentioned like accounts and activities, and we have contacts, assets. These are all standard objects, whereas these objects are created by me. Like standard custom objects. So if you see, as I told, we have different developer name. So usually when we are referring to these objects, we refer to them with these names. So for custom objects, what happens is whenever we are creating a custom object, there is an extension of underscore underscore c for all the objects that we create. If you notice that I have created as a product as well. So here in all the custom objects, they have an extension of underscore underscore c. So when we open, this is basically a view for a system administrator wherein you can make changes to this particular object. So I have created this G product object which actually stores the details of the product. So when I say the details of the product, so they have to be stored in the form of fields, right? We have a product name, we have a product price, we have product type, we have product rating, etc. There would be many fields that would be available. So we can actually create those fields from here. Um, like you can see, we have product price, we have product price that was created, we have type as well. So all these, again, even in the fields, we have this field names addressed with under extension underscore underscore c, and the data type is also mentioned here. So what is this data type? So you can create fields with any data type. So you have for instance, you go to new and you can create a field like maybe it's a currency, or maybe it's a checkbox. For instance, we have a premium product, we can create that field in the form of a checkbox. So that can be done, and we could have manufacturing date of that particular product. So that can be, created by creating a data type field, etc. Excuse me. So these are the different data types that we can use to create a particular field. And also once these fields are created, I'll show you how does this page look like when you're accessing it uh, from the customer's perspective. So I go back to this page. So these are few products that I've created. So whenever the front end customer is using this application, he would see this particular page in this form. So there would be a G product name, there would be a manufacturing date, there would be all the other relevant details accordingly. And we would be requiring like for instance, there would be sales team and a service team, and there would be few relevant fields that should be visible only to a sales profile team, and there would be few relevant details or relevant fields that are necessary to be visible only for the sales team. So it's not required that all the fields are common for both of the profiles. Even that can be achieved in Salesforce. So that can be basically done by assigning page layouts. See, one good thing about Salesforce is here the names are like very relevant. So you can, just by going through the names, you can understand what exactly this particular functionality does. So all this comes under configuration part. So we have like G product layout, for instance. So what I did was I have assigned few fields here. Like when you are opening the page, as I showed you before, we have the GE product name, product, premium product, etc. So we can define whichever fields we want, whichever fields we don't want. So if I want to remove this particular field, discount field, I can just remove it directly. And once I save it, that will not be reflecting here in this page. And we can specify that at a profile level. So that's what if we have a sales team layout and a service team layout. Accordingly, we can specify that. Apart from that, we have even the record type. So this is nothing but an extension of page layouts basically. So if you are assigning different page layouts to a profile, that is wherein if you want certain fields to be visible to a profile, then we use page layouts. Whereas if we'll have certain business processes with respect to this application, so therein we can use records. For instance, see, we have a GE product, we have GE product, one of the object, and we have GE survey as well. So they are actually related. So we can have different type of relationships. So here it's like a parent child relationship, it's a lookup relationship. So I'll explain you what are the different relationships as well in detail in the coming slides. But for now, just keep it in mind that this GE product being the parent object, and survey being the child object. As it's like every product may have multiple surveys. So one product may have many surveys. So when we are trying to access these surveys, so in the real time scenarios, there could be two types of surveys that we can do, right? Like one is like an online survey. When we are like here, we have a few products like aircraft. So if you want to do the survey, we can do it online, wherein we would be like, it's like accessing through online and do it. But we would also have an offline survey module wherein you go there, you check the product, and accordingly you would be requiring few fields, right? Like survey expenses, or the expenses incurred by the surveyor when he has gone to that place, the traveling cost, the food cost, etc. So we would have different business process according to which we have to create the record types. So I'll show you, I'll log in from a sales profile and show you how does that actually look like. So I've created a profile named Shara Jones, and she belongs to the sales profile. We can access this from again from here. uh, just a moment. So if you go to profiles, you can maintain the data, or you would get the details of the different users that we have created. Even see, creation of users, creation of profiles, again it's a separate topics, which would require some time for, like how to create those profiles for, or how to create those users. Though it is easy, we can actually I would recommend everyone, like post this, you can go ahead and sign up yourself and start playing around with Salesforce and see how we can do that, because it's very simple. And it's like by going through, you would understand how to create. It's like as similar as creating an account. So I have this Shara Jones, and the profile associated with them is G Aviation sales team. So I'm logging with Shara Jones. Uh, so if you see here, I'll go to the G service, and I would try to like create a new survey. So when I'm trying to create a new survey, I would get this record type. So basically, online survey and offline survey. So I've created these two record types. So wherein offline survey has an extra fields like expenses, that are survey expenses. Whereas in an online survey, you need not require any expenses fields in that. So I would go ahead with offline, and therein if you want to add few pick list values, even that can be done here. So when I open this, there is a field with expenses, survey expenses field. But whereas if you try to create an online survey, you don't have that field. So basically, if you want to design such scenarios wherein few fields would be relevant to a particular business processes, then you can go ahead and do that with the help of record types. So that is about record types. These are like basic things in configuration part which you can go through and try to explore more into that. And when we talk about objects, there would be, see, once you go to the object, right? I have logged in, that was from Salesforce, but this profile is my profile as a system administrator. So apart from that, we have few automation processes like validation rules, etc. So what exactly does this validation rules do? So for instance, I go to this particular product, GE product, and if I try to create a product, see, let me name it as test one, and some so these, all these details we have created in this thing, like when we have created the product, we have specified these things. So that's why, so this can be like altered or configured according to our requirement.
Hey Maz,
Yeah.
Shahnaz here.
Yeah.
One question, like whatever values you are getting in the drop down and everything. So are you specifying those in some database or where you have specified that?
No, I have specified these details while creating this object. So for
Okay.
instance, let me show you that. So I am here, right? This is the product basically. Object manager. I'll go to that product, G product. So in the fields, right, I have specified those details. Like for instance, I have this product type, right? So I'll just search with that name. So if you see, it's a pick list basically. So I have specified that here, like what are the different pick list values that are to be visible. Like see, we have an aircraft, marine and space. So if you go here, you have product type, right? Product type, yeah. See, we have aircraft, marine and space. So I have we can specify that in the object creation.
Yeah, yeah, got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that can be done. That's what this is like in the configuration part. We have when we are creating fields, so we can specify different data types, and accordingly we can create that. So I was doing something, right? Yeah. So I was talking about the validation rules. Okay, I have one validation rule in place right now in this object. So what I did there was I have created a validation rule. And see, if I just show you that validation rule, it's like not at all difficult to understand. So it's like basically what I'm doing is I'm checking the condition, that is when the manufacturing date is greater than today. So when we are trying, when we are recording a particular product, obviously when you are recording a product today, obviously it would have been created like yesterday or before before today's date, right? In real time scenario, it will not be like the manufacturing date would be the future date. So I've created a validation rule here, wherein I'm checking if the manufacturing date is greater than today, then there would be an error thrown uh, stating manufacturing date should not be a future date. Okay. So when I go to this product, and since today is 20th, and if I'm just giving the date as 21st, I would get that error. See, manufacturing date should not be future date, and this error is actually logged in whatever I've specified it here, right? That will be visible there. So in this way you can specify the different processes or different scenarios without like with zero coding knowledge. So that is like one of the advantages of this thing. So this is about configuration. We still have few automation processes in configuration. Okay. So here and I'll try to explain that. There are certain automation processes like workflows, process builders in Salesforce. So what are these automation processes? Um, Let me quote you with an example. So one, as I told you, like whenever we are opening any automation process, all the details related to what is a workflow and how can we use that and what are the different criterias based on which we can use it. So basically workflow rules are nothing but if you want to update a field based on a certain condition. So for instance, in our case, if we have this product price, if the product price is greater than like around 50,000 USD, then let's consider that as a premium product. And we have this premium product field in the products. So whenever we are whenever we are specifying this value, this premium product box should be checked. So how do we do that? It's not necessary that you do it manually every time, because you would have multiple products, and doing that manually would like require a lot of time. It's not a good practice. So what we do is we design an auto or a workflow rule wherein we specify, because there are four actions that a workflow rule can do. One is it creates a task and field update. As I told, premium product is a field, you can update that field. Even you can send out email alerts based on the conditions, like whenever you have a particular sales that is about to happen, or whenever there is a lead or an opportunity that is not tracked down, then sending out an email to the sales team, that can be automated based on the products, or whenever a product manufacturing date is or whenever the product is about to expire and it has to be renewed or something like that. So you can send out an email to the concerned person through the workflow rules. So herein I have created a workflow rule wherein I'm checking the customer checkbox what I say, when the product price is greater than 50,000. So again, this is again, if you see, it's very simple. You go ahead and just define the criteria, like evaluate the rule when a record is created or changed. We have around four options in this. We can specify that, and the rule criteria, like what are the conditions that it needs to check, like the product price being greater than this value and the premium product not equal. So it's like when this particular checkbox is unchecked and the product price is greater than this value, then uh, it should, this particular field has to be checked. The condition or the field update is specified here. So I'll show you here. So this is a G product. Just to since we have specified the condition as 50,000, I'll just make it as 60,000. So once I do that, I need not check this box, as it's a read only field that I've created. It will not be checked by my side. So once I specify this and once I create this, uh, automatically this box will be checked, premium customer checkbox. So let's see if it works. See, you for now don't concentrate on premium product. This is again a customized logic that I've done. I'll explain you that when I come to triggers. So premium product is checked. So these automation process can be easily done when we are when we are using a workflow or a process builder or these automation processes. So apart from this, we also have other automation processes like workflows and process builders. So just a moment. Yeah. So I'll just show you how to create a workflow. You would have just seen an already created workflow. Uh, since I was in sales profile, I was not able to edit it, but herein I can edit those particular workflows. So here and see specified the name and the details regarding that, and I've specified the evaluation criteria. So when should this workflow run? It should run when the record is either created or every time it's edited, or whenever it's like subsequently. So these different criterias actually have their own scope. So what happens here is when I select this, every time even the other fields like the manufacturing date, everything, when even that is changed, this workflow rules where workflow will run. So that will again cost that will cause what do you say that will affect the performance of the application when the workflow rules unnecessarily. So we have selected this particular criteria only when the product price is changed, then only this has to run. So I have specified the criteria and what is the rule. So what is the actual condition? So when the product price is greater than this value, and when the checkbox is unchecked, when the premium product checkbox is unchecked, then I specify the rule, basically what has to be done here. So the rule immediate action is nothing but the field update. If you see here, we have different updates that we can do. you can edit or add a workflow action. So we have around 4 updates that a workflow can do, like an email alert, a field update, or outbound message, etc. So herein I have just added a field update option, so wherein it only goes and updates the premium checkbox. So this is an example for a workflow rule, and it's very simple. I mean, anyone without coding knowledge can go ahead and do this once he's like good with this. And believe me, there are a lot of requirements for Salesforce administration or configuration level jobs. Then we have another one, automation process, like process builder. So this is nothing but an enhancement to what workflow rule does. So in workflow, what happens is, if you want to make changes or if you want to automate process, it can be only done in a particular object. So when I say a particular object, I mean it cannot be done on the child or the parent objects that you want. So for instance, I have this GE product and GE survey, right? These are related to each other in the form of parent and child relationship. So I'll just take you through that. So if you want to make changes to the child object, right, from the parent object, or whenever the parent object is updated, and you want the same to be reflecting in the child, so that cannot be done with the help of workflow. So that is one of the limitations that we have with workflows. But whereas in the process builders, it is again an automation process that can be achieved through automation process. So for instance, we have an account and contacts, right? In a real time scenario, let me give you an example. Like, see, we have probably this edge communications. They have two contacts. Okay, in real time you would have around hundreds or thousands of contacts. Basically, what is an account and what is a contact, as a standard object? It's like you, for instance, our company is a GE company, so account stores all the companies who are customers to GE, who are already the customers to GE, and the contacts are nothing but the employees or the point of contacts. Basically, this particular account, Edge Communication, is a customer to GE. So Edge Communication would have hundreds and thousands of employees whom you can be who can be contacted, and those details are stored in contacts. So herein we have seen Forbes and Rose Gonzalez. So these belong to the contacts. So these are the employees of Edge Communication, who are in turn the customers to GE, right? So this is like as simple as that. Like, basically, it stores the company details of the customers. Account stores that, whereas the contacts are nothing but the employees of the associated POCs for that company. So this is what it is. So in a real time scenario, we would have a requirement, right? Basically, wherein you want to like make sure that when there is an account billing address, so we have a field like account billing address. So for instance, this is the field. So when we are updating this account billing address in our account object, which is the parent object, we want this to be updated in all the 100 or 1,000 contacts associated. So when I'm updating this, the contacts, right? I have this contacts, associated contact. Their billing address should be changed to whatever I've updated in the accounts, basically. So how can we do that? So in a real time, if you want to update it, I mean, it's like a huge, it's a manual process which would take a lot of time and resources, which you cannot afford to, or a company, they cannot afford to. So what they usually do, if you are using a Salesforce, then this can be easily achieved by a process builder. So what we are doing it here is, basically, we are creating an process wherein we can specify the different, like, for instance, we want this particular process to be called. When should this be called? This should be called in the account object. So we are making changes in the account, right? We are updating the account mailing address. So that has, once that is updated, the contact billing address should be updated. So once I'm making changes, so it should be an account object. So what is the condition? if you see the this process builder is in the form of a flow chart, so that makes it more easier. So if you go to this object and we check the conditions, like when we have to run this particular process builder, or when this has to be called. So what we are doing, we are just specifying the billing address of the account. When this is changed, we have to make changes. So it's like we are specifying the operator and the type of value, like whether it's a boolean or what. You can also give the hard coded values here, like the text fields or etc. So accordingly that we can do it. So when the account billing address or billing phone number etc is changed, so what we do, if the condition is true, we have the actions. What are the actions? We are updating the mailing address, what it is. So the mailing city of the contacts, so if you notice, we are calling that contacts from this, and the contact mailing city, mailing country is equivalent to whatever the billing city we have, whatever the billing country etc we have. So I'll just show you that how we can update that. So that is the basically the process that we have created. So let us check whether it's working fine or not. I just give some address like London, UK. So I'll just see if these details are getting updated or not, because even the billing city, everything is updated. So let's see if it's working fine or not. I'm just giving some names, that may not be relevant, but just to show you whether. So I've just updated these details, like I have updated the billing address to UK. I'll go back to the contacts and see whether it is updated correctly or what. So Sean Forbes and Rose Gonzalez are belonging to the same account. So if I go there, so their billing address should be changed, and the details of that will be in the detail tab, not in the related tab. See, the contact mailing address has changed. So if there are around thousands and hundreds of contacts, then just like by spending around 10 to 15 minutes to design this flow, so you can easily make changes and automate process. So it is as simple it is as it looks. So these are few automation processes with respect to configuration that we have. um, I can get into customization, but this that is again a different topic. Probably we can have a different session to understand that, wherein it's like I'll just give you an overview about what exactly is customization. So now that we have achieved this through process builders, right, we can also achieve this through coding as well, by writing an piece of code in the form of triggers. And like the way you're calling this particular process, right, we can call a piece of code according to our events. So that can be written in a piece of code which is called as triggers. So that can be achieved. I have written. So basically here in the process builders, it looks like probably it looks somewhat complex in these terms. But if someone who is like into coding and who feels like doing coding and wants to make sure that the application is not burdened, then he can write a piece of code. Basically, to write the code and to access the development area, you can go to this developer console, setup and developer console, and you can access different triggers. So I am just opening one of the triggers, which is nothing but contact mailing address trigger that I have written. So this is nothing but I specify what is this process, that is a trigger, then the name of the trigger, and on which object. Here also we have specified it in the account object. Here also we specified it in the account object, and what is the event. So this is a standard syntax. You not worry about this, because this is the standard syntax we follow in every trigger. So we specify the name, we specify the object on which it has to be written, and we have to specify the event when it has to be fired. So this has to be fired only when the account details are updated. So we have certain events like after update, after event. So once you are into development, you can understand that, or once you start learning Salesforce development, you'll understand that. So what I have done is I've just queried. There is a database language in Apex, that is SOQL. It is similar to SQL, so it's a Salesforce object query language. So wherein you just run a select command and specify the different fields, and you specify the object from which it has to be queried, and you specify the condition. What is the condition? Basically what you're doing here is you're just running a query with relevant details, like from the contact, right? This has to be updated, mailing city, mailing country, mailing postal code, etc. But this has to be unique, right? So how do we specify or fetch the conditions which are matching that particular account? So that is done through the account ID, and we specify the account ID. So we are just querying the list of contacts for the associated account. Okay, so here in for this edge communication, we are taking all the fetching all the contacts. Okay, like we have two of them, so we are specifying that, and we are simply mapping that. So contact, this is nothing but I have specified that here with the alias name. So I'm just writing that name, and whatever the mailing street it is, we are assigning the value of the billing street of the account. Contact mailing address mailing street is equivalent to, we are specifying as account billing street. So this we do, and we perform the DML operation. This is a simple thing. Once you are familiar with coding or Apex language, you would understand this. So this is about customization. So this is an overview about what a configuration and customization looks like. And also see, customization, it's like again a very huge topic. This was this would require some time for brief explanation with real-time scenarios, so we can probably understand that in different sessions if they are planned in future. So now coming back to the different certification roadmaps in Salesforce. So how can you start your career in Salesforce, and what are the requirements? To be frank, certifications nowadays, companies are not very specific about certifications, because considering the demand, and demand is more and the requirement is more, so the demand is huge. So the companies, it's actually your performance in the interview is totally dependent on landing yourself in Salesforce job. But yes, nevertheless, it's always better to have a certification to have an edge over other associates or candidates. So we have two tracks, as I told you, right? Configuration track and customization track. Configuration is nothing but an administrator track. So here in to start your career in administration, yes, you need to learn things, but yes, you can start off by giving Salesforce admin certification, that is admin 201. That is the name of the certification. Actually that involves whatever I have showed you in configuration part, right? So the questions or the syllabus is same there. So you would have details about that, and the question answers, it'll be around 40 120 questions or something, I'm not sure about that. So you can give the certification, and post that if you want an enhancement like specific to Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, and Advanced Administrator, you can do that as well. Here I'm pretty clear that there is no coding required, no coding requirement here. Whereas if you want to have a developer track, again we have two types of certifications here. Initially it was called dev 401 and dev 501, but now it is replaced by the name platform developer 1, Salesforce PD1, and platform app builder. So here in PD1, yes, you would require coding knowledge, Apex coding, uh, and to design different components. Even JavaScript coding is required. So for that, you can plan to take people who are belonging to IT background and who wants to explore a career in Salesforce development. This is a very good opportunity for them. They can go ahead and do it. And apart from that, platform app builder, it is development platform app builder certification, which is like more of a low coding development. It's like a drag and drop of to achieve a particular application building. So that can be done through this. The here also again there is very less coding required. Apart from that, once you are done with PD1, you can go enhance yourself by doing PD2, platform developer 2, and this certification. Then this technical architect, basically it's like an enhancement, or if you want a senior level profile, you can go ahead and do this technical architect certification, which can be done even after platform developer 1. So basically these are two tracks that we have. in Salesforce. And career wise, this is the latest data that I got it from Salesforce.com page. So it is estimated to create around 4.2 million jobs by 2024, and almost every company is adapting or adopting Salesforce as a CRM. So there are more than 150K customers, and as I told initially and rightly said by um, it's like one of the leading CRMs in the world, and it occupies around 20% of the market. And also 88% of the companies, they use Salesforce app, one of their Salesforce application. So these are a few reasons wherein we can go, we can actually think of starting our careers in Salesforce. There might be some people who are not from IT background. For them also it's like one of the best opportunities that we have. Also for the people who have around 4 to 5 years experience, more into not completely into development, even they can go ahead, and if they want to switch their careers, they can do that. This is like one of the best opportunities according to me, considering the present requirements. And believe me, even I have experienced that. I recently switched my company a few months back. There is a huge requirement, and companies are like very flexible enough, like to for you to give a permanent work from home. Or even I know there are freelancing companies who would require around 2 or 3 hours of your effort every day, basis on which, along with your permanent job, you can work there in order to probably upgrade yourself and also earn accordingly. So these are certain career opportunities that we have with Salesforce. So I'm done, pretty much done with my application. So as there is always a saying, like it's always better to dirty your hands by probably experiencing what Salesforce is, rather than too much studying, etc. So we can do that. So I have covered pretty much of these slides separately. So that's it from my side. Jazakallah khair. So I'm available for questions. Let me know if you have any.
So Maz, can you please give us a flow chart how to start and get that certification particular?
Yeah, sure. So, see, as I told you before, certification is not mandatory to land to get a job, basically. But yes, as I told you, first thing is sign yourself up for a developer edition Salesforce and start working. Because as I've specified the different processes and what is an object, what is a relationship, just get through the details and understand how it is. And to get a job, see, I would always recommend, like, first get a job, then do certifications. Because usually companies, when they are hiring even freshers or people with less than 2 or 3 years experience, they're not looking for certifications. Yes, when they're looking for senior roles, they are like probably they have a requirement for certified Salesforce developers, etc. Because it all boils down to your interview performance. So what I would suggest is, you list down the different processes that we have in Salesforce in configuration part, and just have one real time scenario along with that. You can just work on that, or build an application with one real time scenarios, as I explained you with account contacts and premium product, right? You can design your own workflows, and it is available in market. I mean, it is available in YouTube. You can search with those specified, like, process builders to bulk update the contacts, or triggers to bulk update the contacts. So you can just probably with one real time examples, you can achieve those functionalities or use the process. Because that is what is asked in interviews. Like, for people especially with 2 or 3 or less than 2 or 3 years experience, it's like about they would emphasize on the differences, and when should we use process builder, when should we use a workflow. So as I told you, workflow cannot be used when child objects are to be updated. So process builders can be used. And what is the advanced version of process builders? It is flows. So all these details, you can go ahead and but the first thing is, first create your application, and you can start building your objects and relationships with that. And you can probably explore more on that.
Yeah, good. One more question. Like,
Yeah.
I'm from quality assurance department in manual testing. It's an
uh,
ERP company. So which
okay.
role would better suit me according to you?
Quality assurance, they are into what? Like basically, they would be into which particular cloud? They would be service cloud, is it? You're
It's
into some.
yeah, I am into like integration department, like testing of end-to-end solution. It's
Uh-huh.
cloud, yeah.
Okay, okay. We also have testing cloud services provided by Salesforce. So you can probably check for that because I'm not completely sure what exactly is your role. So I'll be in a better position if I know exactly. But yes, we have testing clouds as well in Salesforce. You can probably that can suit a particular profile.
Got it. So you mean as a fresher or 1 year, 2 years of experience, no need of certification in Salesforce, right? We just
Yes,
get the offer letter, then we can.
yes. See, certification is just like it gives you an edge because there are a lot of candidates who even after having a PD1 certification, they would not be able to clear the interviews. Okay, and believe me, I'll tell you, certification is very easy because what happens is usually in the set of questions, 80 to 90% of questions they follow a pattern and they're repeated, completely repeated. So people by just going through the threads they can easily clear the certification. So clearing the certification is not at all a big deal. So I would suggest, like, once you have a hands-on experience in Salesforce, it is it is more like you get more, you are more advantageous to getting a job.
Okay. So you said something. We have testing in Salesforce as well. Can you say me the name or something?
Actually, I have heard about that. I'm not completely sure. I'll explore and let you know. Probably you can give me a contact or something. I can specify
Yeah,
that.
sure. I'll message you on chat.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Hey, Mas, this is Mukhtar.
Yeah,
Yeah. First of all, thanks for this informative session on Salesforce.
Jazakallah.
You
Yeah.
got you got a lot of idea on Salesforce because I came from the development, right, from Spring, Java, Boot,
Okay,
Cloud,
okay.
all those things. Yeah. So I wanted to understand, right? So do you have any? You mentioned a number of services which is provided by Salesforce, for example, right? Sales, then healthcare. So do you have any ERP service?
ERP, what does this ERP stand for? Is it like integration with any third party?
Yeah, enterprise
Is it
resource planning.
related to IoT?
No, no. Do you know about SaaS, right? Not SaaS.
Yeah, software as a service. Yeah.
Software. ERP is enterprise resource planning. Uh,
Okay. See, I'm not completely into that, but yes, we can integrate. Salesforce provides us with an opportunity to integrate with the third-party solutions as well. So that can be done through Salesforce. But I'll probably check on this and let you know.
no,
I'm not.
do you know about SAP SAP, right? SAP is
Yes, yes,
nothing but ERP system.
yes. I'm
SAP
not.
is
Okay, but I'm not completely sure how what exactly ERP is. So probably I'll check and let you know on this.
okay.
Hey,
Yeah, some one more thing, right? So is the Salesforce career, right? If you go out for
Haha.
Salesforce, we have development. You mentioned, right? Configurator as well as customization. That is by developers.
Yes.
Okay. So I wanted to understand, right? So you are giving some application. You give a good example of automobile industry. You want to purchase a specific type of car. We don't provide it by the manufacturer. We'll buy the car. We'll go to the. We'll modify it. So
Yes.
what type of application they will provide? Uh, in the
Application in the sense, as I've told you, right, there are different applications like sales, service, etc. We can also build our own application through app builder. So they have their own logic. So for instance, see, in sales cloud, right, if someone is from a sales team, they can correlate it with easily. So we have something called as lead opportunities. Right, what is a lead? Basically, contacts are already the available customers, but leads are those clients who are interested to buy your products. So they are, you can say, potential customers to a company, whereas an opportunity is nothing but the leads who are like more interested to buy your product in a specified time. So Salesforce provides us with these are standard objects directly, and the platform and the processor. So processes in the sense, for the sales team, when the opportunity is about to expire, So like there would be a date specified wherein that particular client is about to buy your product, but he has not bought the product. So you can Salesforce provides us with an with a platform wherein we can design the processes to send out an email reminder to that particular customer, stating that your payment is not done on the specified time. So this is one of the real-time examples I'm trying to give you. So these are very specific to the different clouds. Now, for instance, for Commerce Cloud, it is a different processes and opportunities that are provided by Salesforce. So these are very specific to different clouds, we can say.
So if I took a developer, right, which is the
Yeah.
free, can sign up. So I come up with some idea, right? I would develop some application. Uh, I will develop it. How do you after development, right? Or how the end user will access it? So there is a particular DSN name, a domain server name. Will get it. Obviously, it will deploy to the cloud when you
You
develop the
mean the
application.
front end? How will
Correct,
that?
correct,
Yeah, it's
correct.
similar. So whatever I just showed you, right? I accessed I log in through the sales profile, right? Sarah Jones. So it's like the URL remains the same, and therein you can specify your
No,
org,
no.
which
So
particular.
customer Sarah John is what here is a customer or what?
He's a customer. That's what I told. He's a front end customer. It's like the client who is accessing our application.
So you need to have account in Salesforce. That means.
Yes, yes.
Okay, yeah, got it. Yeah, thanks
And
for.
also we can nowadays Salesforce is providing us with mobile applications like FSL, like Pulsar app, wherein that can be accessed even. So this and for this internet is required, right, to access Salesforce. But if you want to access Salesforce application offline, Salesforce in the recent releases has come up with this software as well, wherein you can access your application offline. It has its own what is a stream of learning, and it has its own career path. It's like a parallel path to what Salesforce is.
Okay. How about the security, right? If you develop multiple application for multiple clients, how about the
Yeah,
security? The Salesforce will.
yeah. As I told you about the architecture, when I here the data is stored in the form of metadata. Okay, so therein it's nothing but the enhancement of what are the governance limits that we have. So the data security is not a problem in Salesforce. In configuration only, we have the sharing settings, sharing rules, wherein the records are shared and specified to whom it should be like visible, etc. So that shouldn't be a concern with Salesforce.
So the deployment is real time, right? When you develop the application, the
Yes,
deployment
yes,
is in real time.
yes.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Mas.
Jazakallah.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Uh, are the tutorials available on YouTube from where we can learn and get hands-on experience?
Yes. There are available. You can simply type Salesforce tutorial, Edureka, or uh, there are many Salesforce. There are channels also, but Salesforce Edureka, you will get an idea. Like they have explained briefly what Salesforce is. They are like 9 to 10 hours long courses wherein they have taken up different real time scenarios and configured the application accordingly. So you can go through that as well.
Okay. And how much time will it take to become ready so as to face the interview?
See, I think if you are developing an application and if you are investing around 2 to 3 hours a day, I think within 2 months, if you're like concentrating only on administration part or configuration part, like within 1 month or 1.5 months should be maximum time limit. Post which will be ready probably to take up this career or take up interviews, because Salesforce, it's like basically the interviews are comparatively not that difficult because the requirement is huge. So that is one that I want to give that a heads up, because there are huge requirements and there are not actually eligible resources available in the market. So I think probably to have a full-fledged hands-on, I think around 1.5 month experience by investing around 2 or 3 hours a day would help.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I had one question in the chat, like for non-IT background, how is it like how can one go? Yeah. So as I told, right, it's like no coding is required in this. All you have to do is to start login yourself, sign up yourself in Salesforce and explore things, I think. And probably you can make use of the available material that is available in the internet or YouTube videos. So that should be enough to go through all this. So I don't think it's difficult. But if you want
Okay.
very specific material, I can try to fetch and give it to you. Probably you can contact me. I'll put my number in the chat.
Okay. Like particular Salesforce doesn't have any course like from them. Is there any kind of thing?
From Salesforce end, is it? No, no, they just have certifications with them. Yes, you can. And also, yes, I forgot to tell that you have a community URL from wherein you can start your hands-on. That is nothing but trial head.
Trailhead.
Yeah, so you
Okay.
can log in here, and this is one of the best ways of learning Salesforce. I mean, you can sign yourself up, and there are many if you have a Salesforce account, or if you have a Google account, you can directly log in, and you can start because they actually give you in the form of assignments. I can and you can complete that, and you get some points, and those points actually you get batches as well when you complete the courses, etc., that are very helpful, and you can put up in your resume, that actually gives you an edge over others in getting a job. So this is what to say, one of the URLs with which you can start learning. I'll just paste it in
Okay.
the
What is
chat.
like any growth opportunities further in Salesforce or
Uh,
not?
Yes, as I told you, like, right, there are like estimated 4.2 million jobs that are estimated by 2024. And one thing is, because of the requirement, the competition is comparatively less, and most of the people are not aware about that. Like, even without coding, you can get into Salesforce configuration. So yes, the requirement is huge. So we can take this up as a domain knowledge.
Okay. Thank you,
I have
Maaz.
one question.
Yeah.
How to apply off campus in big companies like Infosys, TCS, etc.
I would suggest you just update your profiles, LinkedIn profile and Naukri profile, and therein you can whatever applications that you have built right on your own, you can specify those details in your profile. I think that is through that is one of the ways you can get contacts. And also, inshallah, through this MFIRD platform, we have many brothers who are working. So if for any job roles, anything, you can contact them. Like for Salesforce specific thing, I can probably refer somewhere in my company or something. So we have many brothers, alhamdulillah, who are working. So we can probably contact with them. That is one of the best platforms.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
This is Mukhtar here.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam salam.
Please go
Omar
ahead.
here. I have a question.
Yeah.
Sorry. Uh, so I have been working as an admin for over 3 years now, and
Okay.
I have been seeing that a lot of jobs actually ask for coding experience, or all the job descriptions that I'm seeing on the career portals are about admin with experience
Yeah.
in Apex, Aura, Lightning, and all that. And that's
Yeah.
the switch I am not able to make because I have gotten used to being an admin, doing no code things using only the declarative,
Uh,
what do you call it, out of the box functionality only.
okay.
How do I become a developer? Is there any resource other than Trailheads that will help me become a developer?
Yeah, see, one thing is there is a huge demand for admin come developer roles, because as as per the client requirements, is it's like it's a decision to make from our end as a developer or a development team, to whether achieve a certain functionality either by coding or by the available processes or the functionalities in Salesforce. So we have to take care, like whether that should not burden our application, or that should indirectly not affect the performance of the application. So that is wherein it's always even for a developer, when they are like into getting into development, it's better to like have admin knowledge and with development knowledge. So coming back to your question, like how do you switch yourself to development? So I would suggest, like the first thing you can do is you can start working. Apex is a very simple language. Okay, I mean it's not that difficult. Basically, you can start off with triggers, basic triggers, wherein we just write 2 or 3 line of code codes. So like I gave you an example of premium product, right? So premium product checking of the premium product through automation processes. We can do that from the triggers also. So just understand what a trigger is. You can start off by actually writing triggers for simple scenarios. So that is the best way of doing it, because if you want to get into development, yes, it's like a huge it's a huge ocean. Like there are a lot of things to learn, but to just switch yourself from an admin role to a development role, I would suggest you start off with the triggers. Then we have batch apex. Then after that you can get into lightning, aura, or lwc components. But to start off, yes, I think first have a grip on what is an apex language. And usually when we are writing a trigger, right, we actually follow a template. It's like very simple template for every all the scenarios. Like first we create a list or a set, then we query from that object, and we check whether those details or those records are available in that list. So then we make all the DML operations. So the standard template is same, but yes, it differs based on the different objects and scenarios. But yes, to start off, you can start off with triggers, I think.
Jazakallah khair, Maaz bhai.
Jazakallah.
Jazakallah khair.
Yeah, Masba, this is Mukhtar. So
Yeah.
how about the career for the new person in this technology? For example, right, there is a 4.2 million jobs. What do you explain about, right? This is for experienced, right? Who have 1 or
Not
2 years experience. Some people, let me say why asking this question. Couple of our friends in our community, right, they graduated from engineering. After that, they didn't got any job in technology, so just to they go to some other fields like or business, small
yes,
business.
yes, yes.
So I'm talking that perspective. How about this? If in our community, if you suggest somebody to go and learn this technology, there is a huge opportunity for this technology going forward. So how do you see that? If they learn it by themselves, and they apply, they'll get a job.
Yes, from my experience, I can say that, because I have few of my friends who did join Salesforce as a fresher. So yes, probably for 1 2 years they should not be really choosy about the jobs. Like if they get any particular role in Salesforce, right, they can go get into that and probably enhance themselves and apply for different jobs. Because ultimately, see, the experience, whatever they see, right, that is just on the resume. It ultimately boils on your performance in the interviewer. If you make the interviewer feel that you are capable of doing what, like, or work, I mean, like, with like being whatever you are, or you are up to the expectations irrespective of the experience, I don't think so that would affect one, and
No.
like especially if you're going as a Salesforce fresher.
No. Yeah.
But yes, one primary thing is you should have a hands-on experience. Like probably you can spend much time in developing different applications in different clouds. But that again comes to you, like, and also see, one of the advantages I told you, right, trailblazer community. So from there, and if you do different I mean, if you take up the assignments and complete that, your points increases, and that actually erases out concept of experience. So there would be people who are freshers, but they have earned good amount of batches, number of batches, and the points with which actually companies do consider that, irrespective of the experience.
So why I'm asking the question, right? So
Uh,
before like coming to interview, right? Shortlisting a resume, they will see, right, how many years of experience they have. In
yeah.
resume, if there is no experience, they're not going to shortlist it. That's the reason I'm asking this question.
Yeah, see, for that only I'm telling, yes, because of the requirements, I do feel that the companies would recruit freshers as well. But yes, your resume should be somewhat, it should have an edge over others. So therein, yes, one is trailblazer community points, and the other one is having certifications does play an important role.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Maaz.
Jazakallah. Any other questions? Uh, let's wind up the session then, Sanvi.
Yeah, Jazakallah.
That's-
Jazakallah, Sanvi.
Full session. Lots of
Thank
fun
you.
for
Jazakallah.
to all the audience. So we'll keep playing inshallah.
Inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Jazakallah.